Hey folks, David Stewart here. Time for another mobile mini review. This time Fire Emblem Heroes, a game that I've done a lot of interaction with and have even spent money on, believe it or not. I think I've spent a total of $12, and most of that was out of guilt because I had spent so little money on this game. I felt guilty. I wanted the developers to have something for the amount of enjoyment I got out of this game. This is another Gacha mechanics game, but this is one that I think is a lot fairer than a lot of other Gacha games, and I'd like to show you why. We'll talk about the Gacha mechanics as well as the basic gameplay mechanics. If you are familiar with the Fire Emblem series, the actual gameplay of this is like a simplified version of this. Rather than having a large movement over large maps, you have small movement over small maps. Different kinds of units have different amounts of movement spaces and different kinds of strengths and weaknesses. There's no classes, rather each unit that you pull from a summoning event will have different stats, and basically your goal is to get the best characters out of all of these pulls because their stats are assigned differently, and there are definitely some that are better than others. There's also several different qualities. Now, what makes this fair is if we go over to battles and we look at all of the different battles that you can. If we look at our story mode, there's actually 3 different levels that you can play through with story mode. There's normal, hard, and lunatic. So if you look at normal, what you have is, this is the end of the story, so this is fairly high for normal, but you have a bronze star in level 30s. Max level's 40, so if you are just playing this game casually and you don't have any gold star units, these are these higher level units that have 5 gold stars, you can still play through all of the maps really easily. As long as your characters are somewhere in that range and bronze or better, you'll be able to clear those maps. As you go up to hard, you're looking at silver stars. These are characters that have a little bit better skills than their bronze star counterparts, and then by the time you get up to lunatic, you have level 40 plus, which means you're going to need characters that are 5-star characters and also have been merged with themselves in order to get above the max level. So this is the way that they really get you to improve your units, is not just pulling the best units, but pulling the best units multiple times, combining them to get additional levels tacked onto them, like this one's 40 plus 2, and then you'll be able to do harder bosses. They get a little bit better stats each time you do that, and that's the way that they are going to try to get you to interact with the gacha mechanics. But because they offer these different levels of play, it really makes it a lot more fair for people who are just wanting to play casually, not wanting to spend a lot of money. You also have these paralog maps, same idea here. I haven't cleared all of these because I haven't been really playing that much. Likewise, you can do Arena, which is not really a PvP mode. It's more you fighting against other people's characters, not you fighting against other people's actual strategies. And you have some bonus units that you can pick to up your score. But whatever units you go into the fight with, they will basically level them down. So if you want to do Arena and your characters are in the level 20s like these are, then all of the characters that you fight in the arena will be roughly that level. And there's a couple other modes that are like that. Some of these special event modes that can give you different things, like this one will give you some orb bonuses. Orbs are the currency that you use to pull units. If we go ahead and do one of these stages, and we'll just pick intermediate, it'll level down the opponents so that they're appropriate level for the group that I picked. So these are all level 27, which is, I guess, one of the higher levels that I have here. We can decide how we're going to arrange our units. And, you know, if you have a horse unit, you can move 3 spaces. You have a infantry, you can move 2. So that's pretty much how it works. There's the weapon triangle you might be familiar with from Fire Emblem, most of the Fire Emblem games at this point, and that's present, but there's no classes. There's just different kinds of units. So this one's like a beast class. As you can see, he's got like a beast stone, turns into a beast. This one is a cavalry and has a green tome, so she can kill this green character. Bam. And this guy's, cavalry with a sword here. So we'll move up here, and this that character has staff, so she's a healer. Pretty basic. So there's the 3 colors. There's magic for each one. There's beasts. There's also dragons. And then there's colorless healers. So we can go ahead and kill that character pretty easily there. Get her for 30. She's dead. And your characters gain experience by doing these battles, and so here's when it's going to level up. It may seem like these stat gains are random. They're random, sort of, but basically if you get a character to level 40, the max level, they will have very specific stats. This kind of allows you to decide which characters you want. You can actually look up what their max level stats would be if you're trying to decide what you want to pull. And that's a pretty easy way to figure out how you want to interact with these gacha mechanics. So that's how the mechanics work for the main game. The meta game, of course, is pulling the characters and getting the best characters and combining your characters and improving them, swiping skills from other characters in order to make the best possible unit that you have. But this one, you unlock some little conversations here as you get through various levels. So if you guys are into the conversations from the regular Fire Emblem games, they have a little nod to this, but these aren't very good. And so one of my negative criticisms of this game is that, frankly, the writing is just not on par with an actual Fire Emblem game. The stories aren't really there compared to a real Fire Emblem game. They're pretty simple. They're, I don't know, an afterthought, really, is what I would say. I would call them an afterthought. There's just not very much to the stories at all. And the conversations don't really reveal much about the characters. They're not that fun to go through compared to one of the other Fire Emblem games, a real one, Fire Emblem Three Houses, or Fire Emblem Awakening, or whichever one you happen to have played maybe on another platform, on the 3DS or on the Nintendo Switch, or even the Super Nintendo, or even the Game Boy Advance. There's so many of these past games. So that's what the gameplay more or less looks like. Let's go ahead and pull some units so you can see what's going on there. Like I said, I actually haven't spent a lot of money on this. What's great about this is that I really don't have to spend a lot of money on it. For instance, each one of these different pulls will give you a little free one. So you can just pick, hey, I want to pick a free one, and you can pick a color. I'm going to pick green. And maybe you get one, maybe you don't. They encourage you to keep spending your orbs, which is the currency used to pull units, by giving you a discount. So the more that you pull at once, up to 5. Oh, look, I got a 5-star. Look at that luck. I got Brave Mercenary Ike. Awesome. So I got the 5-star, and I'm going to stop there. And the reason is because once you get a 5-star, you are able to basically have the odds reset. So let's look at the odds on this one. Go over here to appearance rates, and you'll see that 3.50 for the 5-star focus, 3.50 for all other 5 stars, and then 4 stars, and on down from there. And you get a free 5-star hero after 40 total summons. So if you spend a lot of your orbs in one pull, or one set of characters to pull, then eventually you'll get rewarded. And each time you pull characters, the chance of getting a 5-star goes up, and the goal is to get those 5 stars. But this one I actually have a little ticket, so I'm going to play the odds and use the ticket and pull all 5 here, just to see if I can get another one for you. I was really lucky to get that 5-star Ike. I already have him, so I'll show you what I'll do with him in a minute, which is combine him to get a better one. And here's one of the focus characters in 4-star. If you want to turn a 4-star character into a 5-star, you can spend some currency called Hero Feathers that you just acquire by playing the game. So there's a lot of player control over what you're actually going to be doing if you're interacting with the gacha mechanics. You can avoid spending money. Oh, here's another 5-star. Look how lucky I am getting today. What a lucky video to make here. I got my reliable chemist Midori. So she is a red bow unit. Awesome. I don't have one of those, so she's new to me. But yeah, you can control, if you're good at math, you can actually control quite a bit how many red stars you're going to get. There's a bronze star. He's basically going to be worthless for me. And you can really actually get quite a bit of good quality characters to play with without spending any money. And even if you do want to spend money, you're going to get a little bit more value, I think, with some of these other games. A lot more fairness to it. And there's far fewer parts of the content that are restricted compared to a lot of other gacha games. The only thing that's restricted behind these 5-star characters and having them completely maxed out is really high-level arena play. The like top ranks are going to be restricted behind that. And so once we have pulled a 5-star, our chances will actually reset. And I actually have a full barracks here, so I'll show you what I'm going to do here with the managed barracks. You can send some home and get some feathers, or I'm actually going to combine. I'm going to merge allies, and I'm going to find that green Ike there. Since I already have an Ike, we'll put another Ike right there. We have to make sure we take that heart off of him. There we go. And so when we merge him, he's going to go to a 40+2, and he's going to get some more stats. And this is the way that you get basically the best characters, is you pull the same ones over and over again. So there we go. So that's it. Fire Emblem Heroes, not really a mini review, pretty in-depth review, but I've played this game quite a bit more. And if you're looking for a gacha game to actually play that's a lot fairer and isn't going to just eat your money up, this is probably a pretty good one to take a look at. So thanks so much, guys, and I will see you all next time.